Who's the best fighter in the world? So who's the best fighter in the world?
Right now, he's #1.
I was about to say.
Yes,
who do you think who is the best fighter in the world?
Definitely, he's #1 right now.
Boxing.
On it.
All right, back in Gleason's gym, Brooklyn, New York City. Back with Jihad-Abdul-Aziz. What's going on, bro? How you doing?
Everything is good.
So, a few days after the fight on Saturday, not quite what you predicted. I didn't expect such a blowout either. Talk to me about what you thought about the fight on Saturday.
Well, it was a clinic.
Yeah.
You know, he took him to school. He took everything from him. I mean, honestly, something wasn't right with Earl Spence. You know, he was definitely off it. He was a step behind. He was dropping his hands. A lot of mistakes. A lot of major mistakes.
Back in Gleason's gym, back with the Profit, Blimp. You got that prediction bang on the money. You said he was going to beat the ish out of him.
He's going to get destroyed.
Who you got, Blimp?
I got Crawford. Crawford's going to destroy him.
How's he going to do that?
Before you sit down and do it to get into that fight, it's going to be fucking over. He said he's going to beat the shit out of him. And that's what he did.
Talk to me about your prediction and how you were so confident. What made you see that?
I know Terrence. I dealt with Terrence before. I watch him box. He's a superb fighter. Not with this, oh, he's a good boxer. No, he's a superb fighter.
Yeah.
He's mean. He got a great jab. And Spence don't have that. Spence not a killer. I mean, he fought some guys that were supposed to be good fighters, but he never really showed me that dog in him. He never had that dog. He just tried to outwork you. But Crawford got that dog in him.
Yeah.
And I just made easy money.
Is there anything that surprised you about Crawford's performance? Is there anything that surprised you about Crawford?
I thought he was going to stop him at least by the second round.
Yeah.
But then after the fourth and fifth round, he started carrying him a little bit.
Yeah.
He could have just pulled him, but he just carried him.
So who's the best fighter in the world?
Crawford. Crawford, there's a goal.
You were saying that before even this fight was going on.
I know people they won't believe that I said it way.
Bro, I'm gonna show the film of you
like
before and after.
My Wall of Fame, Team Animal. I put Terrence Crawford there when I first met him. Before any fights, I like, yo, everybody don't go on this wall.
When did you see him fight first then? When did you see him fight before that?
I didn't see him fight. I seen him come here. I had to get Top Rank had called me and they wanted me to get some sparring for him.
Oh, okay.
And I got 3 guys for him to spar. And they was great guys, but he made them look average.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, okay. From that moment. What year was that? When was that? You remember?
Hey, Don! Don! What year was that when Crawford came over there? Yeah, when he first came through. 215? Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I told him. Yeah,
I remember that.
I brought him here for that.
Yeah. I know that. I know the clip. Sorry, mate. I know the clip you're talking about. Yeah, that's. Yeah. Don, just really quickly. I know you predicted it, the 9th round. Don, what are you saying this Saturday? Yeah, 9th. Crawford.
What did I call it?
Yeah.
You're gonna beat him up for 6 or 7, and they gonna stop him in the 9th. I called it. Told you that was easy. I knew that was gonna be easy.
And Terrence Crawford capitalized off those mistakes.
Yeah. It was unbelievable. I do agree with you to a certain extent. He didn't look like very confident in the walk to the ring. In the ring, he looked a bit nervous and edgy, which I guess it's a massive fight. But he didn't look as calm and composed as Crawford. But he really made it look quite easy in there, didn't he, Crawford?
It was easy.
Do you know?
Easy work at that time.
Yeah. What was it that made it so easy? Because I was saying that maybe it was just the way he could read, you know, the steps that Spence was doing. He could just read him like it was in slow motion, you know?
Crawford is a master at what he does. Obviously, He's a skillful, crafted boxer. He's a master at what he does. He dissected him and he took him apart.
What surprised you the most about Crawford's performance?
I wasn't surprised. I know he has the skills and ability to perform, but the way that he performed that night, unbelievable.
Yeah.
My hat goes off to him and his crew.
Definitely.
He's right now. He's number one.
I was about to say.
Yes,
who do you think who is the best fighter in the world?
Definitely, he's number one right now.
Who's the best fighter in the world?
Crawford.
It has to be, right?
Yeah, Crawford.
Thanks, man.
Then I got Inoue, Shakur, and Inoue, Tank, and Shakur.
Yeah, top four.
That's my top four.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Usyk is my
Yeah, he's a bad dude.
People see him.
I know.
Usyk is my top.
Hopefully he fights Fury soon, and we'll find out how good he is.
He'll be.
I think so.
On the edge.
Yeah.
He's number one.
I think, I don't usually get into pound for pound stuff, but when you do have a massive fight like that against, a 3-belt champion, high stakes, and everything's on the line, and you pull out a performance like that, you have to really announce yourself as one of the best in the world.
There's nothing wrong with other fighters believe that they're number one, but I would say every fight in every weight class they have a number one.
Yeah.
In that weight class. But overall, you want to say, of course, Terrence Crawford. Tyson Fury said he's number one.
Yeah.
You got other fighters say they're number one.
It should be for sure, but it's proving it is another thing.
Yeah.
And obviously we'll get onto who he's going to fight next, but should he go up and fight Jahmel Charlo and become undisputed there? That's never been done in boxing before. 3-weight division undisputed champion.
He made history, and he's looking to keep making history.
Yeah.
His time is. He's 35 years old, getting older, but he looks young.
Getting better though. He's getting so much better than I've seen him.
And honestly, a man doesn't mature until the age of 40.
Yeah.
He reaches his full strength.
Is that right?
So he has some time. He haven't taken any beating.
Can you explain or go into more detail on what you mean by that? About how the full strength isn't achieved till you're 40 years old?
See, when I'm speaking from religious perspective, our prophet, may peace be upon him, he spoke about the man doesn't reach his full strength until he's 40. This society says a person reaches manhood at 21.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, but his full capacity is when he reaches 40.
Because a lot of people talk about man strength when, especially younger fighters coming up, they don't get their man strength, but they get that in the middle ages, right?
Yes,
and then so 40 they get it more.
But
they get a double man strength.
Look at Big George Foreman when he was what, 48?
Something like that, yeah.
When he regained that heavyweight championship when he knocked out Michael Morrow.
I think so, something like that. Yeah. In the high 40s, definitely.
George can punch regardless.
I know. Did you see him on the heavy bag the other day?
Oh yeah, the other day. Yeah. So we were 74 now.
Something like.
Oh
he
my
looked
goodness.
heavy, yeah, that
still
got
got
like
the strength.
He dented the heavy bag.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But Crawford, he will continue breaking records, but about that rematch is questionable. Some say maybe the same thing will happen.
Yeah. What do you think?
But
it's hard to
say. But Earl Spence have to make some major adjustments. They didn't have a backup plan.
Yeah.
And if it was me, maybe the 7th round I would have stopped the fight.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that too.
Because he wasn't winning. He only won 1 round.
Yeah.
And that was the first round. And that was it. Everything went downhill after that. And Terrence Crawford, he saw everything after that, and he picked him apart. So if he would have stopped the fight earlier and probably saved him from a lot of punishment, maybe he can do something in the rematch. But it's hard to say.
His face did look quite deformed at the end of it. Yes. It was a bit worrying, He was like, Roy Jones said that he was bleeding a different color of blood or something like that. And you saw some of the pictures. It really didn't look good, and he didn't look like his sharp, normal self. I know after he got hurt in the 2nd round, that might have changed it, but he looked a little bit slower, a little bit more like making more mistakes earlier on, and it was.
He made him look like an amateur.
Yeah.
You know, yes. Unfortunately, he looked like an amateur.
He did. You're right.
You know, and one of the biggest mistakes that he kept making was he was dropping his hand, and Terrence Crawford was coming over top.
And that's not something Spence usually does.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He always keep his high guard up. But this time, he would jab and drop that hand, and he'd counter up, boom, right over top.
He was telegraphing the backhand a lot. He was throwing it from like really
no straight punches.
No.
Looping punches all the time, and Crawford was blocking them, counter punching them.
Do you know, one of the most surprising things for me is there were a couple of moments on, I think it was in the beginning of the third round or during the second round, maybe before he got dropped, where he was on the ropes. He had Crawford on the ropes, and Crawford's defense, inside defense, catching the shots on his shoulders.
He saw everything.
Saw everything. And he was countering a little bit, and he got out of the corner, and I was like, wow, that's where I thought Spence might have some advantages, but it was... He couldn't lay a dent on him, couldn't lay a finger on him, really. It was a remarkable performance.
Yes. Great performance.
And the corner work sounded like that. I saw some clips from BoMac.
He's too fucking slow for you, alright? You get a chance, counter that fucking jab over the fucking top. Sometimes turn that jab into a hook, alright? You don't have nothing left. You can stay on the inside, catch and counter.
In the middle of the rounds, telling him to catch and shoot, and then he did that, and he almost ended the fight with a catch and shoot hook. He was catching him off the ropes with that uppercut. He was just countering him. He just put all the doubt in Spence's mind early too, right?
Yeah. And you can tell that, Spence, he didn't have no legs, no movement. Yeah. And it was a rumor saying that he went to, when he went to Vegas, he ran this mountain up there that's in Vegas, which was bad, a week before the fight. And we were talking about
high altitude.
Yes.
Oh, really?
I mean, it was hot in Dallas where he's at, and then you go to Vegas.
It's about 110 degrees in Vegas, isn't it?
And we were talking about last time about the cool down from the fight.
Yeah.
After you put in the hard work, you don't need to run that hard anymore a week before the fight.
So that sounds a bit crazy that he would do that.
But I mean, some fighters, they believe that. They okay,
Yeah. It was that punch though that when he got dropped in the second round that really took the sting out of him. I've not seen Spence hurt like that, and he's been hit with bigger shots before.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
To me, it didn't look like a it was a nice shot.
Yeah.
But real power shot.
I agree.
And then after that, I was like, oh, something ain't right. It's not going to look good.
His legs were wobbly in the corner.
Yes.
And he never quite recovered from that shot, did he? And then he was just getting, beaten up, really.
Yeah.
I felt for him a bit, to be honest, bro, because he's, we were talking, he's a likable guy, and to get a beating like that can't be good for you psychologically. Do you know what I mean? What would you say to him if you were coaching him as like trying to build him back up, or what would you do? Because obviously there's got to be some concerns about the car crash and stuff like that. Where would he go from here psychologically?
I mean, I hate to be the one who say it, not to take anything from his team. When you have a fighter from the beginning and you're training him from the beginning, and he knows everything that you taught him, and you can't teach him nothing else because he's working on the same thing. So I believe that Spence should add something to his game. Not saying get rid of his trainer.
No.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying the trainer have to say, listen, we have to look at something else and see from another trainer's point of view, to add to the game. You got to add to it.
Such as?
Basics. I mean, he was teaching the base, hands up, so I ain't seen no head movement from Spence. He was leaning in, falling in, head down. I've never seen that before.
So with the head movement, that's an interesting...
Side to side, you got it.
But that's that. I feel like, sorry to jump in there, I feel like that's a skill in itself that could take a while to learn.
No, since he knows that. Every boxer knows that, but they have to be reminded to implement it. Yeah. Like Evander Holyfield. I remember years ago, he was working with Don Turner, and what can Don Turner teach Evander Holyfield at that time. He's a great trainer, yes, but only thing Don Turner was doing was reminding Holyfield what to do.
Okay.
A fighter needs reminding. You know, don't forget to do this, or pick up on this. Remind them, because they intend to forget it. There's so much going on, so
much
you
to
remind
do.
them.
I was about to
Yes.
say there's so much going on. It's like they do need a little reminder, like do this, do that.
Yes,
But,
remind.
Yeah, I don't know if anything could have helped him in that fight on Saturday.
Honestly,
don't you?
I agree with that. After the second round, I was like, oh, it's a done deal.
Yeah.
Because Terrence Crawford's confidence was building up and up more and more, and he knew he was going to stop him. You know?
Some people are trying to, obviously, a lot of comparisons get made and stuff like that, and obviously comparing him to Floyd and stuff like that. I know they don't fight the same, but they were, like, he does show an ability to basically do absolutely everything in the ring. You know, he can fight going forwards, he can counter punch, he can use an active high guard, he can use southpaw orthodox. You know, it's like, what can't this guy do? He sounds like he's like a complete
And you know
fighter.
what it didn't really shock me, but when he came out southpaw and he stayed the whole fight.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I'm glad he didn't switch.
Yeah.
You know why? Because what he was doing was working.
Yeah.
So why change it? You know.
Well, that's probably why he does switch when he's in fights, where if he hasn't got the advantage, he can just try the other angle and see if it confuses his opponent or wherever he can be successful. But
and that was
he didn't need to.
and being a southpaw versus not southpaw is tailor-made, basically. You know, you can counter more. You know, counter punch more, especially with that left hand over his jab.
Say that again.
When he was counter punching.
Yeah.
Spence would throw the right jab and drop his hand, never bring it back up like before. And just land, boom, left hand straight over. And it was landing all the time, every time. And Spence, the trainer was not reminding him, keep your hands up.
Yeah, I didn't actually, to be honest, hear what Derrick James was saying. It was a lot happening, but I need to go back and watch it again just to see round by round what is being said, because you do need to sometimes just, like you said, just remind someone that they're doing this, but
remind them all the good that they're doing and tell them to take away all the bad that he's doing.
He was lunging in quite a bit.
Lunging a whole lot, no legs. He couldn't really go forward and backwards step.
Yeah, I know Spence has never been a fast fighter, but he looked tremendously slow in this. I don't know if it was just Crawford making him look slow, but he looked...
The timing of Crawford made him look slow.
Yeah.
You know, Spence, you can tell that his timing was off and Crawford was on point.
Well, that's a good point,
Crawford
because he's
was well
been
prepared.
inactive as well, hasn't he, Spence? You think that played a part in inactivity?
I don't think that played a part in it. It was the skills, skill level. You know, see, the art of boxing is to make your fighter fight your fight.
Yeah.
You make the person who you're fighting fight your fight. And Crawford, he made him fight his fight.
What he was saying too, a big part of the game plan was to take Spence's jab away, which they did by just taking little steps back, just getting out of the range. Sean Porter did that a little bit as well, so they obviously did their film study, but and then implemented it, and that's what, like, obviously that's Spence's best weapon, because it sets up his bigger punches, but it was so easy for them to take the jab away. Amazing. But that's the computer processor speed of Crawford that just saw everything, right? Yeah. And Spence didn't help him by, kind of being a bit too predictable and lunging in a little bit. But
and I want to commend the referee. He did a great job by stopping that fight. Because Spence didn't deserve no fighter deserved to be damaged like that, and that's what ends a lot of fighters' careers when they take punishment like that unnecessarily.
One or two more rounds than it needed to
yeah.
be. Yeah. It was a fair stoppage.
And I didn't see anything that Spence was doing to. He needed a knockout. Yeah. So and it's clear that he couldn't get that. So the mercy. Remember, I was talking about the mercy stopping from the other corner. Now Spence corner should be the mercy stopping. Stop the fight. You know. I mean, he
did get a little bit of backlash about that. It must be hard when I don't know.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, I think about it too. I ain't stopping no fight, man. Later for that. Go out on your shield. No. I mean, no fighter wants their fight to be stopped.
Yeah.
It's a psychological. It messes with your brain sometimes. Yeah. But you don't want that damage. Unfortunately, you have to make the decision, and I respect each trainer's corner.
Yeah.
You know, decisions that they make, that's on them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Derrick James, you know, he was getting criticised. You know, boxing fans overreact a lot. You know, people come in and someone has a bad performance and they start calling the fighter trash.
Yeah.
He'll be back. He'll be fine. He's got
Derrick James is a hell of a trainer.
Great trainer.
You know, great trainer. You can't take anything from it. I mean, people win and lose. Boxers, they win and they lose. You know, the best of them, they lose. So it doesn't take anything away from him. It's just that Terence Crawford showed up, he did his thing, and he was the better man.
And I don't think any trainer in the world would have probably been able to really have Spence win that fight.
Yeah.
Might have done a little bit better, maybe, but no, he wasn't beating Crawford that night, bro. You know, no way.
Let's talk about the rematch, though.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, go for it.
You want my opinion?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. I don't even know if it's necessary to have one, but
I mean, you know, most people would say the same thing would happen. You know, and it's a possibility if he doesn't make any adjustments. And the biggest adjustments that Spence have to make is add another trainer to his camp.
Yeah.
You know, add another trainer to his camp.
How does that work with the dynamic, though, if you're bringing somebody in out of nowhere to have him cohesively work with Derrick James from, I guess, from an ego perspective?
I mean, no trainers want another trainer to come and take their fighter. And it's okay, you looking out for the best interest. It's all about the fighter. Stop looking out for your interest and look out for the fighter's interest. You still a head trainer.
Do you really think he's got a chance in a rematch, though?
It's possible. Anything happen. Look what just happened. Anything can happen.
I don't see it, man.
I would believe Spence will have to go see a doctor and see if anything is wrong with him. You know,
neurologically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I haven't been liking the way I hear him talk sometimes. I don't know anything about the car accident if that was affected him. Obviously, he had to clear to fight. You know, they cleared him medically. If you look at his movement was nowhere near.
I agree.
Look at the earlier success he had in his career with the other fights. He was on point, in and out, moving his feet, side to side. This fight, he wasn't doing nothing.
I do agree. I do think he even before he got knocked down, he just looked. He had a decent first round, but really Crawford lost that deliberately, really just to
to fill him out.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but as soon as that, like his punch resistance, just like he was known for having a great chin. Yeah. Really. Yeah, exactly, I've seen him get cracked with shots and not even close to getting dropped, and he got dropped from. It was like a swivel jab. Really, it was like a counter 2-1, I think, but. It was a bit concerning.
It wasn't, to me, it wasn't, I mean, well to him it was a hard shot.
Sure.
But to me, it didn't look that, damaging. Yeah. But and that's the power that Crawford possessed. Yeah. That a lot of fighters don't know until they get in that ring.
So, assuming they don't take a rematch, maybe they do, maybe they don't, who else would you like to see Crawford fight? A lot of people are talking about Boots Ennis, because he's a mandatory, I think.
Yeah, but
what do you think about that fight?
That's not going to happen right now.
No.
Crawford don't have anything else to prove at 147.
Sure.
Except to give Earl Spence a rematch if he chooses to take that rematch.
Yeah.
His next choice is to move up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He's
a lot of good fights in that division as well, 154. Really good fights.
Yeah.
Not to mention the undisputed.
But I think Earl Spence is going to take it. He's going to go for the rematch.
Yeah. You do? Yeah. I'd be surprised if he didn't, because it's not the kind of, he's that kind of fighter,
He knows that he's better than that. He knows that. I mean, you know yourself. He's like, I could have done much better than that. I'm better than that,
Yeah.
And I believe he's better than that.
That's the thing too. It's true when you are in competition or you do something and it happens so quickly, you always think, wow, I could have done so much better. Yeah. I wish I had another go at doing that again, because who knows, he might do a bit better.
But it's clear that's a tough fight, and the odds are against him this fight.
Outrageously tough fight. He's the best fighter in the world, probably. Him and I guess it's between him and I'm getting this guy's name wrong, the Japanese guy. Let's just call him the Monster. I made a video about him the other day, and people were saying that I wasn't saying his name right, so I'm not just going to. Let's call him the Monster. Obviously, a lot of people are saying him and Crawford are best in the world.
Yeah.
Break down what you saw from him the other day, because we talked about it briefly, but what were your thoughts on his performance? You said his power was going to go up, and it did.
It's
tremendously.
See that power, something about look at George Foreman. Naturally, power, strong heavyweight.
Yeah.
In his younger age, and you saw the power that he still possessed. The other day when you saw him hitting the bag.
I know.
At that age, what, 74 years old, still got the same power.
Yeah.
It's God given.
But see, that's interesting you say that, because Inoue's comes, what looks to me, obviously it's God given, but a lot of it comes from technique, I think.
Yes,
too.
definitely.
Whereas Foreman's is a bit more just brute strength.
No, his form
And
is
technique, too.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
But there's definitely a lot of bulldozing strength that comes in there. But Inoue's is so tight, crisp, and compact and sturdy. I was like kind of surprised at how big he was when he moved up to 122. But I knew he'd keep his power as well.
He's gonna make history too. He's gonna unify the title without a doubt.
Yeah. Well, they're talking about that fight already against the Filipino guy, Tapales. I just made a video about that actually, and that's going to be in Japan in December. So it's another undisputed champion will be at the end of this year.
Yeah.
It's been a great year for boxing so far. Yeah, but that fight, talk about Inoue's performance against Fulton.
I give him an A+.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of not gonna say I predicted it, but you know, I looked at both of their skill sets and their power. Fulton power is not that great. You know, he's more of a boxer. And the issue was taking the punch. Can he take that punch? And when he dropped him, I was like, oh, it's over. You know, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, he was just beating him to the punch all the way through that.
Skills.
Yeah, just that. I knew his jab was unbelievable, right? He was power jabs, up jabs, stiff jabs, body jabs, you know. He was just controlling him. It looked easy to
And that's the same thing that was what Crawford was doing to Spence. Jabbing to the body, jabbing to the head. And Spence wasn't doing none of that. You know, he had a lot on his mind, and he wasn't being reminded about his skill set.
What did Derrick James say to him? Do you know?
I couldn't hear most of the things that he was saying, but I couldn't really understand most of the things that he was saying.
Yeah, something didn't look quite right about Spence.
Yeah.
Obviously getting hit in the head with that jab in the second round changed a lot, but he never recovered, and he's usually one for recovering.
And then I remember when he got dropped, after that, like he would flinch after every punch that was thrown at him. So it was like, hold on, I mean, being more careful.
Yeah.
This guy dropped me like that?
Yeah.
Oh, let me, you know, he's more leery, as we say.
Yeah.
You know, so.
No, it was weird to see. I hope he comes back, but we'll see about the rematch. Well, that's it. I just wanted to cover the video I'm making is just who's the best fighter in the world, and for you,
Terrence Crawford.
Terrence Bud Crawford, right?
You gotta give it to him, yeah.
You have to, really.
100%.
Unbelievable.
100%.
It's obviously still early, but what do you think he could go in the history books if he were to keep doing what he's doing? He looks like a complete fighter, just in terms of how far can this guy go?
I mean, well, I can't say the sky is the limit. I can't say that, but you know, Charlo, I like Charlo also. You know, so yes, I like him. You know, and he can crack also, and he can take a punch also. But it will be a good fight. I would like to see it. You know,
Me
but
too.
I don't know if it's gonna happen right now because he's got to deal with Canelo, and if he take a beating from Canelo, and then he come back to 154, and he can be damaged goods.
Yeah.
You know, but I do like him. He has a chance to outbox Canelo.
I agree.
You know, he has a amazing chance to outbox Canelo.
I agree.
You know, and if he can get in the best shape of his life, he got a good chance.
They've been working hard already. You know,
Yeah.
Guzman's down there and showing footage, and I've said before, I think his lateral movement will be a big part in that, and his jab.
Yes, he got great movement. So, and Canelo always had a problem with somebody moving.
Absolutely.
You know, so
laterally, he's not the best.
Yeah.
You know, he takes that few milliseconds a bit longer than it does than most fighters to cut the gap and cut
Wrong
the ring
thing
off?
is to sit there and try to bang with Canelo. Don't bang with him.
Oh, right.
You have to box him, use the skills, in and out, get yours off, in and out.
Yeah.
Build up those points. Let Canelo get desperate, counter punch him, in and out.
Yeah, and not to mention catching Canelo at this time. You know, he's on the tail end of his career. He's probably not as motivated as he would have been. You know, he's had a long career. He's almost had, what, 65 fights, 63 fights. So I think if you're going to catch Canelo on maybe not his best, it might be now. Do you know what I mean?
If Canelo loses this fight, it's going to be a retirement plan for him.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a possibility.
Yeah.
You know, I'm saying if Charlo can maintain that distance and box him on the outside, he has a great chance of winning.
I agree. He's got a good chin too.
Yeah.
Charlo.
Great chance of winning.
Good jab, good movement, nice IQ, good game plan. He'll be prepared for sure. Yeah. All right, man. That is it from us here, Gleason's Gym, Brooklyn, New York City. Jihad-Abdul-Aziz. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button if you're new. Thanks a lot, bro.
No doubt, man. Anytime.
Boxing.
On the edge.
Just on my way home, just wanted to say thank you for watching. I'm trying to get as many gym sessions as I can without overdoing it, but I'll be back in there maybe for the next big fight. Get the guys to break down the fights a bit more, maybe try and get a bit extra time with the other two guys and one or two trainers more too, and just keep giving you guys the best stories from inside the gym. But let me know your thoughts and hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button if you're new, and have yourself a great week. All right, peace and love. Boxing on the edge. I'm out of here.